Hello, and welcome to today's Latin American history lesson on Puerto Rico, la Isla del Encanto. The materials that you will need for today will be a piece of notebook paper, your journal, a pen, or a pencil. Your learning objective will be to understand why Puerto Rico is a United States Commonwealth. And your essential question will be, are Puerto Ricans United States citizens? Puerto Rico was first inhabited by the Arawak Indians. When Christopher Columbus arrived on November 19, 1493, and claimed the island for Spain, the natives were the Taínos. They called the island Borinquen, or in Spanish, Borinquen. Christopher Columbus changed the name and named the island San Juan Bautista in honor of Saint John the Baptist. The native people on the island called themselves Boricua. In 1508, Ponce de Leon founded Capara, and in 1521 he renamed Capara to Puerto Rico, which means rich port. Ponce de Leon was the first governor of Puerto Rico. Smallpox soon wiped out the majority of the Taínos, with many others enslaved by the Spanish to mine silver and gold and to construct settlements. The Spanish began importing slaves from Africa in order to produce sugarcane, tobacco, coffee, and ginger. Puerto Rico's capital, San Juan, became a military outpost and a very important port for many ships that came from many European nations. At night, the gate of the city of San Juan would be closed. Various walls and forts were built to help protect the port of San Juan from European invasion. Such forts were San Felipe del Morro and San Cristobal. A palace was even built for the governor called La Fortaleza. After the Spanish-American War in 1898, and under the Treaty of Paris, Puerto Rico came into the United States possession. In the 1900s, Congress passed the Foraker Act, which was the first law to define Puerto Rico's territorial status in the early 20th century. It ended military rule and established a civil government and gave the president the power to appoint the Puerto Rican governor and members of the upper house legislature. The Juncture Act of Puerto Rico was an act of the United States Congress. It was signed by President Woodrow Wilson in March of 1917. This law gave Puerto Ricans United States citizenship. And as a result of their new citizenship, many Puerto Ricans were drafted into World War I. It allowed Puerto Rico to divide its government into executive, judicial, and legislative branches. It also created an elected bicameral legislature, with the Senate consisting of 19 members and the House of Representatives with 39 members. Only the governor and the President of the United States have the power to veto any law passed by the legislature. Also, the United States Congress has the power to stop any action taken by the legislature in Puerto Rico. The Jones Act also provided civil rights to individuals, and the United States maintained control over physical and economic matters and exercised authority over immigration, defense, mail services, and other basic governmental matters. In 1946, President Truman appointed the first Puerto Rican-born governor, Jesus Toribio Piñero Jimenez. He signed La Ley de la Mordaza, the gag law, or also known as Law 53, in June of 1948. It made it illegal to display the Puerto Rican flag, talk of independence, sing patriotic songs, and even fight for liberation of the island. How do you think Puerto Ricans handled this new law? I'm going to give you a moment to jot your thoughts. In 1947, the United States allowed Puerto Rico to elect their own governor. In 1948, Luis Muñoz Marin was elected, becoming the first popularly elected governor of Puerto Rico. Once the Constitution of Puerto Rico was approved by President Truman on July 3, 1952, Governor Marin proclaimed it on July 25, 1952, which was the anniversary of United States troops landing in the Puerto Rican campaign of the Spanish-American War. Puerto Rico adopts the name Estado Libre Asociado de Puerto Rico, Free Associated State of Puerto Rico, which was officially translated into English as Commonwealth, where the people indirectly govern themselves. The United States Congress legislates over Puerto Rico's citizenship, postal service, currency, military defense, communications, foreign affairs, the environment, labor relations, finance, health, commerce, welfare, and many others. While residing in Puerto Rico, Puerto Ricans cannot vote in United States presidential elections. Why do you think this is so? Take a moment and jot your thoughts. Let's see how you did. Well, it's because Puerto Rico is not part of the Electoral College. Puerto Ricans can vote in presidential primaries, and those who become residents in the United States can then vote in United States presidential elections. Puerto Rico is represented in the United States Congress by a non voting delegate, formally called a resident commissioner. Felisa Rincon de Gartier, also known as Dona Fela, was born in Puerto Rico and was the first of 9 children. Unfortunately, her mother died when she was 11 years old. She was the first woman that was elected as mayor of San Juan. She served for 22 years and was a heroine to her people and had attained international fame. Under her leadership, San Juan became one of Latin America's greatest cities. Dona Fela made significant contributions in the areas of public health care, of preschools, and established a medical school in San Juan. She helped to conserve historical structures in San Juan and worked hard to provide housing and basic services. After her retirement, she was an American Goodwill Ambassador for the United States. And in her honor, Felisa Rincon de Gartier Museum was built in San Juan and named after her. A school in Brooklyn, New York was also named in her honor, as well as several other public structures and avenues in Puerto Rico. Doña Fela began the Three Kings Day, or also known as the Epiphany or El Día de los Tres Reyes Magos. which is still the tradition held during Puerto Rico's Christmas celebrations. Have you ever celebrated Three Kings Day? Well, as we come to a close, I am confident that you have achieved the learning objective, which was to understand why Puerto Rico is a United States Commonwealth. Take a moment and summarize why Puerto Rico is a United States Commonwealth. And go ahead and answer your essential question, which was, are Puerto Ricans United States citizens? Take a moment to jot your thoughts. It was a pleasure spending time with you today. Thank you so much for participating. Adios.